Om, the Chandogya Upanishad in simple English, presented by Svayam Prakash Sharma. Part 5 of 14. Part 5 consists of sections 1 to 13 of chapter 3. In this part, the sun is described as the honey of the gods. This honey has been extracted from the Vedas. The cosmic significance of the honey and the Vedas is also given. Also explained is the world of Brahma, the Gayatri, and the 5 doorkeepers of the world of heaven. The Upanishad, chapter 3, sections 1 to 13. The sun is the honey of the gods. The atmosphere is the honeycomb. It is the beehive, and the sky is the support on which this honeycomb, on which this beehive of the atmosphere rests, and the particles of light are the offspring. The eastern rays of the sun are its eastern honey cells. The Rig verses are the bees that produce the honey. The Rig Ved is the flower from which this honey is produced. The waters are the nectar, and the Rig verses are indeed the bees. And just as bees extract honey from flowers, in the same way the Rig verses make their honey by extracting the juices of the actions prescribed in the Rig Ved. These Rig verses meditated intensely on the Rig Ved, and from the Rig Ved, meditated upon as such, came out as its essence, as its honey, fame, splendor, vigor of the senses, virility and strength, food and health. This is the first nectar. This nectar flowed out and went towards the sun. The red appearance of the sun is on account of this. The southern rays of the sun are its southern honey cells. Here, the formulae of the Yajurved are the producers of honey, and the Yajurved is the flower from which honey is produced, and these waters are the nectar. These Yajus formulae meditated intensely on the Yajurved, and from the Yajurved, meditated upon as such, came out as its essence, as its honey, fame, splendor, vigor of the senses, virility and strength, food and health. This is the second nectar. This nectar flowed out and went towards the sun. The white appearance of the sun is on account of this. The western rays of the sun are its western honey cells. Here, the chants of the Samved are the producers of honey, and the Samved is the flower from which honey is produced, and these waters are the nectar. These chants of the Samved meditated intensely on the Samved, and from the Samved, meditated upon as such, came out as its essence, as its honey, fame, splendor, vigor of the senses, virility and strength, food and health. This is the third nectar. This nectar flowed out and went towards the sun. The dark appearance of the sun is on account of this. The northern rays of the sun are its northern honey cells. Here, the hymns of the Atharvans and the Angirases are the producers of honey, and the Atharved, legend and ancient lore, and stories from the epics and the Purans are the flowers from which honey is produced, and these waters are the nectars. These hymns of the Atharvans and the Angirases meditated intensely on the Atharved, on legend and ancient lore, on stories from the epics and the Purans, and from them, meditated upon as such, came out as their essence, as their honey, fame, splendor, vigor of the senses, virility and strength, food and health. This is the fourth nectar. This nectar flowed out. It went towards the sun. The extremely dark appearance of the sun is on account of this. The upward rays of the sun are its upper honey cells. Here, the hidden teachings of the Upanishads are the producers of honey, and Brahm or Om is the flower from which honey is produced, and these waters are the nectars. These hidden teachings of the Upanishads meditated intensely on Brahm, and from Brahm, meditated upon as such, came out as its essence, as its honey, fame, splendor, vigor of the senses, virility and strength, food and health. This is the fifth nectar. This nectar flowed out. It went towards the sun. The trembling that is seen in the middle of the sun is on account of this. All these are the essences of the essences. The Vedas are the essences, and these are the essences of the Vedas. These are the nectars of the nectars. The Vedas are the nectars, and these are the nectars of the Vedas. Now we come to the cosmic significance of the nectars and the Vedas. That which is the first nectar, on that live the 8 Vasus, in whom all existence is placed, and who help others to live, through fire as their mouth. The Vasus, being gods, do not eat or drink. They are satisfied by just seeing that nectar. They retire into and come out of this form and color. Whosoever knows this nectar as such, he becomes one of the Vasus, and like the Vasus, through the fire as his mouth, he too is satisfied just by seeing the nectar. He retires into and comes out of this form and color. And as long as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, for so long does he attain worship and sovereignty of the Vasus. On the second nectar live the 11 Rudras, through Indra as their mouth. The Rudras, being gods, do not eat or drink. They are satisfied by just seeing that nectar. They retire into and come out of this form and color. Whosoever knows this nectar as such, he becomes one of the Rudras, and with Indra as his mouth, he too is satisfied by just seeing that nectar. He retires into, and comes out of this form and color. As long as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, twice as long as that does the sun rise in the south and set in the north, and that is how long he attains the lordship and sovereignty of the Rudras. On the third nectar live the Adityas, the 12 months of the year, through Varun as their mouth. The Adityas, being gods, do not eat or drink. They are satisfied by just seeing that nectar. They retire into and come out of this form and color. Whosoever knows this nectar as such, he becomes one of the Adityas, and with Varun as his mouth, he too is satisfied by just seeing that nectar. He retires into and comes out of this form and color. As long as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, for twice as long as that does it rise in the west and set in the east, and that is the length of time that he attains lordship and sovereignty of the Adityas. On the fourth nectar live the Maruts, the storm deities, with Som as their mouth. The Maruts, being gods, do not eat or drink. They are satisfied by just seeing that nectar. They retire into and come out of this form and color. Whosoever knows this nectar as such, he becomes one of the Maruts, and with Som as his mouth, he too is satisfied by just seeing the nectar. He retires into and comes out of this form and color. As long as the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, twice as long as that does the sun rise in the north and set in the south, and that is the length of time that he attains lordship and sovereignty of the Maruts. On the fifth nectar live the Sadhyas, through Brahma as their mouth. The Sadhyas, being gods, do not eat or drink. They are satisfied by just seeing that nectar. They retire into and come out of this form and color. Whosoever knows this nectar as such, he becomes one of the Sadhyas, and through Brahma as his mouth, he too is satisfied by just seeing that nectar. He retires into and comes out of this form and color. As long as the sun rises in the north and sets in the south, twice as long does the sun rise in its peak, rise in its zenith, and set in its lowest, and set in its nadir. And that is the length of time that he attains lordship and sovereignty of the sadhyas. Hereafter, after having risen in its peak, after having risen in the zenith, the sun will rise no more, nor will it set. He will stand alone in the middle. On this there is this verse. It is not so there. The sun has not set, nor has he ever risen. O you gods, by this truth may I not fall from Brahm. Whosoever knows as such this mystic doctrine of Brahma, the sun neither rises nor does it set. For him it is always day. For him it is day forever. For he, the knower, has become the eternal inborn Brahm, who is not controlled or conditioned by time, marked by the rising and the setting of the sun. Brahma told this mystic doctrine to Prajapati, who told it to Manu, who told it to his descendants. His father declared this Brahma doctrine to Uddalak Aruni, his eldest son. A father may teach this Brahma doctrine to his eldest son, or to a worthy pupil, and to no one else, not even to one who may offer him this whole earth surrounded by water and filled with treasure. To such a one he should say, this mystic doctrine of Brahma is far, far greater than what you offer, the whole earth filled with treasure surrounded by water. Yes, it is far, far greater than that. Now we give a description of the Gayatri. The Gayatri, in fact, is all that has come to be in existence. It is everything that is in existence. Speech is Gayatri. The Gayatri sings of and protects everything that has come into existence. What this Gayatri is, that is what this earth is. For it is on earth that everything in existence is established and supported. Nothing goes beyond the earth. And what this earth is, that is what the body here in man is. For it is on the body that the vital breaths are established. They do not go beyond the body. And what the body here in man is, that is what the heart here within man is. For it is on the heart that all the vital breaths are established. They do not go beyond the heart. This Gayatri has 4 feet, each foot having 4 syllables, and it is sixfold. It has 6 parts: speech, beings, earth, body, heart, and vital breaths. This is also declared by a Rik verse. The Gayatri is great, yet Purush, the Almighty, is even greater. All beings are just 1/4 of Purush. The other 3/4, which is immortal, is in the sky. What is called Brahm, that is the space outside a person. Yes, that is the space outside a person. And that is also the space within a person. Truly, that is the space within a person. And that is also the space that is here within the heart. That is the full. That is the non-active. That is the unchanging. Whosoever knows this as such, he obtains full and non-active prosperity. He obtains full prosperity, which prosperity always remains full, and which never changes. Now we come to the 5 doorkeepers of the world of heaven. The heart of man has 5 openings for the gods. Its eastern opening is the pran, which is the up breath. That is the eye. that is the sun. One should meditate on this as glow and as health. He who knows this becomes glowing and healthy. Its southern opening is Vyan, which is the diffused breath. That is the ear. That is the moon. One should meditate on this as prosperity and fame. He who knows this becomes prosperous and famous. The western opening is Apan, which is the downward breath. That is speech. That is fire. One should meditate on it as the luster of sacred wisdom and health. He who knows this comes to possess the luster of sacred wisdom and health. Its northern opening is Saman, which is the equalized breath. That is mind. That is rain. One should meditate on it as fame and beauty. He who knows this becomes famous and beautiful. The upper opening is Udan, which is the out breath. That is air. That is space. One should meditate on it as strength and greatness. He who knows this becomes strong and great. These are the 5 Brahma persons, the 5 doorkeepers of the world of heaven. He who knows these 5 Brahma persons, the 5 doorkeepers of the world of heaven, in his family is born a hero. He who knows these 5 Brahma persons, these 5 doorkeepers of the world of heaven, he himself reaches the world of heaven. Through meditation, by controlling the outward activities of the eye, the ear, the speech, the mind, and breath, we can reach Brahm, who lies hidden in the depths of our very own heart. The Supreme exists within oneself. The light which shines above this heaven, which shines above all and everything, which shines in the highest worlds beyond which there are no higher, beyond which there is nothing higher, that is the same as this light which is here within the person. And how do we see this light? We see this when in this very body we perceive the warmth by touch. We hear this when on closing the ears we hear, as it were, a sound, as it were a noise of a fire blazing. One should meditate on this that has been seen and heard. One who knows this, he becomes one who is beautiful to see and who is heard of in renown. Yes, one who knows this. This concludes part 5 of 14 of the Chandogya Upanishad. Om Shanti 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 Om.